Ravens scream in the blood-red sky, shadows crawling where the dead men lie. Viking axes sing, oh the steel don't lie. Thunder cracks, his name's the cry.
The king is here,
the king is here,
wild eyes blazing,
nothing to fear.
The king is here,
the storm draws near, bow or bleed, the choice is clear. Mad laughter rides the howling gale, waves of fury, shields like scales. Bones break under the hammer's tail, flesh and fear, both frail.
The king is here,
the king is here,
ravens feast,
the end is near.
The king is here,
the storm is clear,
kneel in ashes, taste the spear.
Crown of iron, dripping flame,
carved by war,
etched with pain.
Ravens rise,
they call his name.
The king is here, forever reigns. The king is here, forever reigns.
Forever reigns. Flashes under blood-red skies. The Raven King laughs as the world cries. Storms in his footsteps, thunder in his veins.
Enemies tremble at his name. The king is here,
the shadows bend,
axes sing until the bitter end.
Madness in his crown,
fury in his eyes,
no one escapes when the Raven King rides. Rides. When the Raven King rides. Raven circle,
battle's done,
his legend rises with the sun.
The king is here,
chaos reigns,
a kingdom forged in fire and chains.
Ravens scream in the blood-red sky, shadows crawling where the dead men lie. Viking axes sing, oh the steel don't lie. Thunder cracks, his name's the cry.
The king is here,
the king is here,
wild eyes blazing,
nothing to fear.
The king is here,
the storm draws near,
bow or bleed,
the choice is clear. Mad laughter rise the howling gale, waves of fury, shields like scales. Bones break under the hammer's tail, flesh and fear, both frail.
The king is here,
the king is here,
the ravens feast,
the end is near.
The king is here,
the storm is clear,
kneel in ashes, taste the spear.
flashes under blood-red skies.
The Raven King laughs as the world cries.
Storms in his footsteps, thunder in his veins.
Enemies tremble at his name. The king is here.
The shadows bend,
Axes singing
till the bitter end.
madness in his crown.
Fury in his eyes.
No one escapes when the Raven King rides. The king is here.
The king is here.
Wild eyes blazing.
Nothing to fear.
The king is here.
The storm draws near.
Thou won't bleed. The choice is clear. Of fury, shields like scales. Bones break under the hammer's tail. Flesh and fear, both frail. The king is here.
The king is here.
Ravens feast, the end is near. The king is here. The storm is clear. Kneel in ashes, taste the spear.
Crown of iron,
Dripping flame,
carved by war.
Ravens rise, they call his name. The king is here, forever reigns.
The king is here.
Forever reigns.
Forever reigns.
Forever reigns.
Steel flashes under blood-red skies. The Raven King laughs as the world cries.
Storms in his footsteps, thunder in his veins. Enemies tremble at his name. The king is here.
The shadows bend,
Axes sink until the bitter end.
madness in his crown.
Fury in his eyes. No one escapes when the Raven King rides.
Hello, 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 everyone. This is the Raven King. This is the sleepy, tired version of the Raven King. Tired of what I deal with in this realm, but not crying victim. Dealing with it day by day, week by week. And a lot of what I deal with is not just demonic attacks or hackers or ones making threats or fraudsters or scammers. That's part of it. That's week by week. It seems like there's something going on. And that's okay. It's not that I want that or will forgive that. I won't. I won't forget. I won't forgive. And they will pay. And they are trying to wear me down and wear me out. And I do have less energy than I used to. Now, some people would say, well, you do 12-hour live streams. What are you talking about? You're not worn out after 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours, wiped out of energy like so many creatures on YouTube. And you deal with insomnia and you have some health issues. And you still have more stamina and energy. I also have more thoughts and mind power and spiritual abilities and creativity and imagination. It isn't just physical stamina. I am built differently. I'm wired differently. Now, I got this comment earlier, and I think she's probably from Howdy McCoskey's channel. It was a comment on the video I did reviewing Howdy. Angry and then shocked emoji face guy. Christine wrote, I think I've seen her either at Archaic's channel or Howdy's channel or maybe both. And again, what does it matter if I'm angry or come across as angry in a video? That's what she is right there. What does it matter though? I've never seen her comment on any of my other videos. Now, why am I sharing this with her particular comment? Because it was such a short comment labeling me an emotion, saying angry guy. Well, was I angry in parts of that video? Maybe. Frustrated, passionate, maybe angry, but I would say frustrated and passionate more than angry. So this is what women do, and I'm not saying it's all women, and I'm also not picking on her. Never seen it before on my channel, so I suspect she's a Howdy fan, and she heard some passion in my voice and had to leave a comment on one video out of how many videos have I made in all of my channels? It's remarkable. This is what I mean by people labeling someone and thinking, well, that's done. I got him figured out. Angry guy. He sounded angry in the one video I clicked on. And she has the bias because she's a fan of him. Otherwise, I don't think she would have watched the video to begin with. I think the video popped up in her feed because it had Howdy Mikowski in the title. And Howdy Mikowski tagged. And then it popped up for her. So do I think this is a mistake? Not just to label me that way, but the labeling in itself, in and of itself. Yes, I do. Do I think most humans do this, though? Yes, they do. Now, it isn't the same as judging someone or discernment. It's trying to label them as an emotion or label them as one thing. Like, let's say years ago, somebody would have said computer programmer or computer hacker. They would have labeled me in the 1990s or even late 80s in high school. Is that what I am? Is it? Some of you know me as someone that makes truth videos. Some never knew me as someone that makes truth videos. They only knew me as someone that wrote and published poetry. Some only knew me as a visual artist, as someone that draws and paints. See, this is the thing. A lot of humans have a narrow view. I read a book years ago. It must have been the early 2000s, maybe 2001, 2002, maybe 2003. Somewhere around there, I'd guess. It was written about Kurt Cobain. And he was called a comprehensive artist. Someone that would draw, paint, write songs, write lyrics. And I remember thinking at the time, decades ago, wow, that's really cool. And damn, he's talented. And wow, I wish I was a comprehensive artist. I wrote poetry and things, but I didn't really make visual art 25 years ago. Now, I've been doing it for about a decade, but it wasn't 25 years ago. I also wasn't singing and making songs in 2001. I am now. What's my point? Well, if I'm frustrated or angry for a day or a half hour or an hour, that's not my lifetime. But this is the perspective, the limited, narrow view that not only that blonde woman had, Christine or whatever her name was, but it's many, and it's not just women. There's men like this too. But jumping to the conclusion, labeling someone and thinking you have them figured out, and maybe only watching part of a video. That's not just lazy, that's inaccurate and it's untrue. Now, do I have my moments of being angry? Yes. Frustrated? Yes. Cranky? Tired? Yes. Passionate? Yes. Do I have my moments where I come across as aggressive? Vengeful even? Yes, I'm sure I do. For the most part, am I fairly peaceful, calm, soothing? Yes. I'd say most people that know me in life would say that, especially the ones in person that know me in ways that you don't know me. Now, I'm sharing this because your emotions and feelings can mislead you. You can believe that you have someone all figured out and that you can sum them up in a word like angry or angry guy, 2 words. angry guy. Do I think that's accurate? No, I don't. I don't. I think I'm a multifaceted being, a multi-dimensional being. You can take that in many different ways. You could interpret that however you like. Do I think I have humor? Yes. Do I try to understand others and listen to others and understand their perspective? Does it mean I agree when I listen? No. But do I try to understand? Yes. Do I always agree with everyone? Am I the most agreeable being on earth? No, I'm not. Is disagreeability often a sign of high intelligence? Yes, it is. Did you know that before? Because if you're just agreeing with the crowd all the time, you're not thinking for yourself. And it's not a conscious thing where I'm going, I better disagree, because if I disagree with the crowd, I'm thinking for myself. It just comes automatic, naturally to me, where I have critical thinking skills. It's automatic. It's not a conscious, I better I just automatically see things differently than most on earth. I don't agree with most people, and I'm willing to say that. I don't agree with your view on this in this realm, your view on life, most often your morality. I don't agree with most of you on earth, the vast majority. I don't. I don't think most beings are very moral. I think you'll snuff out life, the most innocent life, and do it by the millions and not think anything of it. The suffering, the way that, let's say, a fetus, you would call it a fetus, I'd call it a baby, would try to avoid being torn to pieces or ripped to pieces or cut. They have nowhere to go. They're vulnerable. The most vulnerable, I would say. And they're under attack by the millions every year. So these are just some of my sleepy thoughts on emotions and feelings. Now, feelings, you can feel one way. You could feel good or feel like you're in a good mood 1 minute of the day or for 20 minutes, and the rest of the day you could be in a shitty mood. Something could happen to ruin your day. Something could happen to change your feelings. Even your hormones could change. It's not necessarily some major event that happens that changes your feelings. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you understand? Feelings change like the wind. Just observe a woman in the course of a day. They're governed by their hormones and emotions and feelings. Almost entirely. Now, I'm not saying entirely. I said almost entirely. Can women still think? Yes. And I know some will be offended by me even saying this. Can women still focus on a task or focus on a conversation or studying a topic? Yes, they can. It's rare, though, and I think it's becoming more rare in modern society. I suspect women 100, 120, 150 years ago were better at it than today. Now, I wasn't around then, so I don't have solid proof or observational, experiential proof to say I was there and witnessed 1,000 women that were much better at that back then than today. But I think a lot of modernity has ruined women. Feminism, social media, smartphones, being in the workplace, competing with men, pretending they're equal to men, trying to make themselves into men, trying to act like men, trying to have sex the way men do, or the way the top men do, not necessarily the way men do. There's lots of men that are incels that wish they could get a girlfriend and have some sexual experience, and they have zero. That's common these days, becoming more common. But I think the modern world has really affected women and changed them way more than it's changed men. Men are pretty much the same way they were in the 70s and 80s. Slightly more feminized, the younger generations, but the ones at my age really haven't changed that much. But has it changed women? Massively. So much so that a lot of men would say in Canada and the United States, women aren't women anymore. There's even articles on this. There's websites. There's tons of videos. And it's not just me noticing. It's millions of men, millions, of all ages. My age, 20, 30, 40 years younger. Okay? I want you to understand this. I don't know if you will, but women go by their feelings a lot. And they'll even break up with a guy just due to their feelings that day. And then they're done. Then they'll have regrets and say, oh my goodness, I wish I wouldn't have done that. But how are you going to trust her again? Now, if a woman did that to me, I'd say, well, okay, well, good luck in life. And I'd walk away and say, I might even let her know verbally, I'll be all right. If she said something, I'd say, I'll be all right. I'm a strong man. I can be on my own. And I'll be fine and happy. And that bothers women. A lot of times they don't want the guy they're breaking up with to be happy on their own. They don't want him to be happy at all unless it's with her. A lot of women are that way. A lot of women live by feelings. And men that are aware and self-aware and observant notice this. Anyway, their feelings can change just from their hormones and their hormonal cycle. Their menstrual cycle can change their feelings and their mood. And they could become moody. Feelings are not the truth. Feelings change like the wind direction. Have you ever been somewhere where the wind keeps shifting? Windier one moment, wind gusts, and then changing directions and doing all kinds of weird shit. Well, that's women. I don't care if it offends you. I really don't. Because they go by feelings. And they'll hear a man's voice and they'll hear him in one video and that's the way women do it. They pigeonhole. Oh, angry guy, angry man, angry guy. And this guy, calm guy or nice guy or gentle or pushover or bad boy, nice guy. They put men into these categories, into these boxes. And I think you're the more simple gender. It's often said that men are simple. Well, men are the great thinkers. Men are the great writers, great philosophers, great artists. Men created culture and art and culture. Men built libraries. Men filled libraries and bookstores with books. Books and books and millions of books. All right? Men wrote most of the music, not just classical centuries ago, but today, and love songs. And a lot of women are just singers, and they have men writing songs for them and writing lyrics. There aren't that many great lyricist women in the realm, ever, in history. And women don't like this. There aren't that many great female writers or female painters or ones that draw or sculpt. Are there some? Sure, there's exceptions to everything. There was a guy in the NBA that was over 7 feet tall from China. Is that the exception? Yes. Go to China. Most of them are shorter than I am. They're not 7 feet tall. That's known as an exception, ladies. And that's usually what women look at. They'll point to the exception. And somehow they think that's smart. And millions of men shake our heads going, that's not smart. You're missing the point. You're not discovering something clever. You're like a little girl that's not paying attention. And then you point over there and say, there's one there. And I'm saying, yeah, there's a million dangerous black men here that could unalive you. And you'll say, there's one sweet one there. It's just like a little girl way of looking at the world. It's not clever. It doesn't impress men. It doesn't change what men are saying if they're pointing out generalities in the rule. The exceptions pointing out only prove the rule. It wouldn't be an exception noteworthy to look at and point out or whatever and even notice it if the rule wasn't there. Now, most Chinese people are shorter than American men. So what stands out? The 7-foot-tall Chinese NBA player, basketball player. He stands out because he's much taller than most Chinese. And I don't want to be condescending, but women don't seem to understand. Most women that I've ever dealt with in this realm, most don't understand exceptions. They don't. And they don't in sports. They would start cheering for a guy if he scored one goal, and some guys are like, yeah, that guy's a hockey player, but he's kind of a grinder. He might get 3 goals this season. He's not going to score 40, 50, 60 goals. And it doesn't matter if it's sports. I can give a million analogies. Okay? There probably aren't that many black female doctors in a wheelchair in America. It might kind of be an exception. Ones that grew up in Chicago and became a female doctor, and they're in a wheelchair, and they're black and they're female and they're in a wheelchair and they came out of the hood. That might be exceptional. I would say most doctors are not like that. Okay? Now, sometimes someone has a day that's an exception. They might have a day where they're angry about lots of things going on all day. Now, if you go by your feelings and say, well, he's angry, it's kind of ridiculous. Do I think women do that? Yes. Not just the one that did that on my video. And I do think it's a problem. And the reason I'm pointing it out is I think it will keep you here. If you do that. If you follow the lead of that woman that was here and others that do that, she's by no means the only woman that does that. Lots of you do. A lot of you believe you could sum up a man in a few words or one sentence. You've drank the Kool-Aid of feminism to believe that men are simple, that women are complex. I would say women are more emotional. But in terms of intellectual complexity, I don't think you could hold a candle to me. Any woman on earth that I've ever known. That includes some very, very capable and highly intelligent women and girlfriends or ex-girlfriends that I've known that were not dummies whatsoever. In terms of intellectual complexity, do I think that they're in my league, though? No, I don't. Creatively, I don't either. Now, some of them might say, well, they're about themselves that they're creative. And they said, but how many media or different types of artwork and creativity have they done? There were artists on Fine Art America that I disagreed with that said, you've mastered this, now you're mastering that. I don't think I've mastered any type of art. But I love to pour my mind into it and imagination and use my hands and create things. But there were some very talented artists on Fine Art America that didn't know when I joined that I was very brand new. I was new. I hadn't been making artwork my entire life since childhood without a break into my 30s or 40s, the way they had. What am I getting at? I tend to learn things very quickly. And I know the reasons for that, but I don't want to get into it. It's besides the point anyways. And it would probably just come across like boasting. That's the way things come across to humans. If you're not super, super overly humble the way they want you to be. But if you are super humble and say enough and basically never say anything about yourself, they just kind of view you as a dummy that's quiet. It's a no-win situation with humans. But anyway, feelings do not determine the truth. So the way you feel about me doesn't determine what's true about me. It also doesn't determine whether or not what I put in an hour and a half video is true or not. Even if I am angry in the video, in my commentary. Even if I am angry, let's say, and saying, oh, these fucking zombies. Look at, they gave them 500 likes on this crappy, stupid, boring video with no substance, just basic shit. And it's just him making mouth noises, and it's just gross. And if I said, yeah, I hate that so many humans love shit, you could say, well, he's angry in that moment. Fair enough. But to label me an angry guy, I don't think is accurate. Do I think women do that, though? Yes, I do. I think you put people, especially men, in boxes. You'll say, he's the nice guy. He's the bad boy. He's the this. And you try to put just tiny boxes. And to me, that doesn't indicate intellectual complexity. It looks like you're simple and trying to simplify things. Here's the nice guy. Here's this guy. Well, it's simple. It's like a little girl would do that. Organize things that way. Categorize things that way. It seems simple. Doesn't seem complex. Doesn't seem emotionally well developed and mature. Seems simple. Seems like you're the simple sex. And society pushes that men are simple. Men are simple. No, men have basic needs. Men don't have a long list that they require to be interested in a girl or a girlfriend or a woman. If she's cute enough, or you look at her and she's attractive, and she's sweet and pleasant and respectful, and let's say affectionate and is into you, sexually attracted, is important too, and you can trust her. That's it. That's pretty much what most men want. I just very quickly rhymed that off, that list. Now for women, they think they're more complex because their list is longer. No, it's just that they're more demanding and entitled. It doesn't mean that they're more complex as a being. They think they deserve more. That's not complexity. That's entitlement. That's all. So I don't believe that men are simple. Men are just easier to be pleased, to be satisfied. That's not simple. It's not simple at all. I don't think most beings know the meaning of simple, though. Anyway, do men have emotions and feelings? Yes. But do we live by them? Do we make all of our life choices by that? No. Do I look at the world through the lens of my feelings and emotions and say, well, that must be true because it makes me feel good? No, I don't. Do a lot of women do that? Yes. Do some feminine, liberal, anti-capitalist, anti-work, lazy Talcott types live that way? Yes, they do. Do I consider him to be a real man? No, I don't. Maybe biologically he's male, but a real man? No, I don't think he is. I think he's a male feminist. I think he lives by his feelings. I think his feelings govern him, rule him. Now, what's the harm, or what's the pitfall or the trap? Excuse my voice, please. It's been a long day of talking and singing and recording, and I've just worn out my voice. What's the harm? Well, your feelings can mislead you easily. Easily. You could judge a guy like me as being angry when for the most part I'm very calm, very stable, very soothed. I soothe others, and I speak calm, rational truth all over my channels. But your feeling is, well, he sounds angry. I feel like he's an angry man. And then you probably won't watch any other videos. Fine by me. It's your loss. You just won't discover all the insights I have that are above and beyond, and humans would probably say light years beyond Howdy McCoskey. I don't believe in light years at all, but huge distances beyond him. Galaxies. Maybe you'll say that. A huge expanse beyond him, and a more expansive view. In my view, I think my view's way more expansive than his tiny surface level narrow view. And I'm not saying that to be insulting. That's the way I see it. If you pulled out something, put a big steak on a grill and said, "What is that, Stephen?" I'd call it a steak. I'm not going to call it a piece of fish or a vegetable or a tomato. I'm going to call it what it is. And I think his view is very basic bitch level, very boring. He doesn't have any passion in him. He doesn't have any humor. And I think his view is very narrow. I don't think he has a broad spectrum, expansive, panoramic, big picture view of reality. And if he does, he's sure held back in sharing it on YouTube. Maybe it's in his books that you have to pay money to buy. Maybe. But maybe not. Maybe his books are about as boring and dull as his YouTube videos, and don't have much substance. There's not much meat. It's like going to a place and they just hand you 2 fucking soft hamburger buns. You're like, I ordered a hamburger. Where's the fucking hamburger patty? It's just bread. There's no substance. There's no meat. Where's the meat? It's all in the meat. I said that on purpose. That's referencing, actually, Kurt Cobain in a Much Music in Canada interview in the early 90s. He said, it's all in the meat. It's all in the meat. And I still find that funny to this day, the way he said it. Because he was a funnier guy than people realize. It's when he was asked about lyrics, he wasn't going to explain them. It's just all in the meat. Anyway, you'd have to see the clip to see what I'm talking about. But they were young and silly and funny. And they did some hilarious interviews in those days. And I still remember that. It's all in the meat. And it is. It is. But you'd have to watch more than one video of mine to understand what my message is. You have to do more than watch my live streams or listen to my live streams to understand. Like, you don't have to do it, but if you don't want to understand, don't do it. It's that simple. Anyway, Hanko Flamio claims that truth is just a feeling. No, it isn't. Not at all. Truth can often be measured. It can be observed. It can be experienced. It can be studied. Truth can oftentimes be repeated and proven with, let's say, the scientific method. It's observable. It's repeatable. It's measurable. Now, he considers himself to be this autistic whatever. You don't even know about the scientific method? You think truth is just a feeling? Really? Well, I step on the scale, and if it says 190 pounds or 195 or 200 on the dot, let's say it says 200.0. Is that just a feeling? Or is that a measurable weight? When I say to someone, they say to me, how much do you weigh, Stephen? And I say, oh, I just happened to weigh myself earlier this morning. I was 200 pounds on the dot. Is that just a feeling? No, it's the truth. Measured. So I just debunked Hanko Flamio. Height is measurable. You can go to the doctor and they use that. I can't think of the name of it at the moment, but you stand on it and they put the thing down on the top of your head. They tell you to stand up straight and lean against the thing, and they put the thing on top of your head and it gives an accurate measurement. Is that just a feeling? No, there's measurements on there, just like a measurement tape. I can measure lumber and cut it exactly. I can do that with a hardwood floor or carpentry. I've done it with saws, like great big table circular saws and things like that you have in your garage or wherever, workshop. So you're measuring, and then you cut it to that length, and you can measure again, it's that length. Is it a feeling? No, it's true that you cut it to a certain length and you measured. It's true. There's truth with computers as well. I could make a computer program and it works. Is that just a feeling? No, it's observable that what I wrote, the little software program or utility or app, works. Whether it's for Windows, MS-DOS, whatever. You can run them at an MS-DOS prompt, a Windows command prompt. Same thing. And it works. It's observable. You could say it's just a feeling that, and I'll say, no, it's true. Type this and hit enter. It'll wipe out everything on your hard drive, for example. It'll nuke it, quote, nuke it. And you'll say it's just a feeling. Press the enter button then. See if it's true. I'll show you it's true. Teacher said to me in class, computer class, well, you can't change your work on this network. You couldn't take the work of the girl next door to you and alter it and save it and overwrite it. I said, yes, I can. And I did it. I didn't screw up all of her work. I changed maybe one sentence so that she could quickly in seconds change it back. I didn't want to fuck around and destroy what she did. My intentions weren't malicious. It was to prove that I can do it. I can hack this network. Brand new network. I just got in the room that day and I knew I could do it. And I did. Right in front of the teacher and other students. So was it just a feeling? No, it was actually true. They couldn't take it that it was true, but it was true. It was true. And there's many more examples than that. I built things in electronics class that worked. With circuit boards. Was it just a feeling that, it's just a feeling? No, it was true. It was true, observable, usable, testable. It worked. When I put when I put watercolors on paper, or ink on paper, and I say, here's a piece of artwork I created with my hands. Is it just a feeling? No, it's true. I actually did it. And it could even be documented. Somebody could be a witness and observe me creating it. Or they say, yeah, it's true. I witnessed him create this. It's not just a feeling. It's true. There's observable truths. You can measure a frequency and say, this is the frequency that this radio station's operating at. It's not a feeling. It's true. There's tons in this world that's observably true. Tons. That's just a short list. That's off the top of my head. But there's millions more. So some of you are liars and truth dodgers. That's what you are. You wish, in a sense, for everything to be feelings. That seems to be your wish. You're wishing you could create reality with your feelings, and you can't. Some of you are wishing you could label others and say, Stephen is this, you're an angry guy, you're this, you're that, you're this. Well, you're a stranger on the internet. What the fuck would you know about me? You don't know me. Brand new to my channel. So when I read that, I thought, yeah, this would be a great example to make a video on this. I've been meaning to make a video on this. Now, are emotions bad? No. Some will say, are you saying emotions are bad and vilifying them? No, they're not. Not necessarily at all. To have emotions. But to judge the world just by that, not use your critical thinking. You want to do that? You want to be like the retards on YouTube that do that constantly? They'll say if something's true, it will feel good. If it's true, it'll feel good. Lots of shit feels good. You could use drugs, it'll make you feel good. Does it mean that it's giving you the truth? No. Does it mean it's giving you a true perspective? No. Take an acid trip or DMT trip or ayahuasca. Does it mean what you're shown is true? The truth about reality or about God or whatever? No, doesn't mean that. Could it make you feel good? Could. Could a love bomb make you feel good when you get out of body? It could. It could feel very good. Does it mean it's real and true though? Just because you felt good? Do you really want to just rely only on your feelings? Because that's what a lot of people do. You don't think, you just feel. Well, animals, quite often, there's lots that don't really think in the way that humans do. They feel. Do you want to remove your abilities to think and just feel? Feel your way everywhere. You can if you want. I'm not stopping you. But I can see easily how you'll be duped. How that could be used against you easily. Because all they have to do is play to your feelings. Use your feelings against you. Knowing that, oh, well, this being here is just all about feelings. Well, no problem. We'll just use their feelings so they'll be used against you. Simple. Give you something that looks like heaven and feels great, and you'll think, well, I'm in heaven. Feels great. Looks great here. This must be heaven. It feels like heaven. Feels like love. But is it real? Is it true? Your feelings can deceive you. They can mislead you, deceive you, warp you. Your feelings can have you hating people that are trying to help you. I can't tell you how many times I've experienced that in this realm. Trying to help someone and they hate me for it. Or they blame me. Or they say that I made the world, or I want the world to be a hell realm. I don't want it to be a hell realm full of suffering. A lot of you are just warped. You just go by your feelings and your knee-jerk reactions, knee-jerk feelings. What do I mean? You don't think. You just react with emotions. You don't think, you just feel. You don't think, you just feel. And I notice it. It's a lot of you. Humans is what I mean. Whether you're brand new to my channel or just people out there in general. A lot do that. Humans aren't great thinkers. They just react and get emotional for the most part. You know, if you were great thinkers, I'd be able to have great conversations with many, many, many more humans. But most humans don't want to think. You just want to feel. So that's why, quote unquote, unconditional love and that fake love bomb works on most of you. Because it's really all you want. You just want to be blissed out in a fucking love bomb for eternity. I think for some of you, thinking would be hell. Some of you humans, you'd say, to think forever would be hell. You hate thinking. Hurts you. It doesn't hurt me. It's enjoyable for me to think. Thinking is enjoyable for me. Maybe not for you. Anyway, I'm getting very sleepy. This is really, really getting me sleepy. But I'm very relaxed. And I'm able to relax and think and ponder things and speak about the things that I'm pondering. And these are my thoughts on feelings. Your feelings could change on something 25 times in a day. You could say, I feel like going there, and you could go back and forth. Your feelings are not the truth. Truth is not a feeling. Hello, excuse me. Truth is not a feeling. Truth is truth. Truth is something that's observable and or provable. In some cases, measurable, verifiable, repeatable. Again, like the scientific method. Or something akin to that. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing as your mainstream scientists rely on. Okay, there are circumstances that are outside of that. But truth is not just a feeling. That's like saying the gender of someone is just a feeling. It isn't. You're born as male or female. It's not just a feeling. I was born with very blue eyes. It wasn't just a feeling. Other people could look at my eyes as a little boy and say, you have very blue eyes. They were observing the truth. It wasn't just a feeling. Okay? Is it true that my parents are both deceased? Yes. Is that just a feeling? No, it's true. I could go on. I could come up with so many examples. And many of you just sit watching these YouTube panels and you're not, I don't know how you could not see that. There must be something wrong with you when you're sitting there and people don't react, and a guy like Hank is saying, truth is just a feeling, and people in the panel are nodding their heads in agreement. To me, that's demonic. It's demonic because it's so obviously a lie. It's nowhere close to the truth that, quote, truth is just a feeling, end quote, as Hank Oflamio and others have said on YouTube on panels. And then they laugh. I could ask them at that moment, are you wearing clothing? And before they'd be able to figure it out, they'd say, yeah. Well, that's not just a feeling, it's the truth that you have clothes on. We can see you're dressed. Right off the bat. It's not hard to prove these demons wrong. They just lie and lie and lie and lie. But they're followed by many of you. It's not just a few demons lying. Anyway, those are some of my thoughts on feelings. Thinking and feeling are not the same thing. Knowing and feeling are not the same thing. Having observable truth in your hand and feeling a certain way about it are not the same thing. Your feelings don't determine the truth of this realm or the truth that I see. Your feelings don't. Now, if I'm angry, it still doesn't change the truth. I could be angrily speaking it, and it's still true. Why are you just focused on the emotion? Why didn't you focus on my message, on the substance? That woman and so many others. Why don't you focus on the message for once? Try it. Try to focus on the message. Not if I sound sleepy or tired. Not if I sound angry or passionate or whatever. I might even sound manic. I might sound like I'm racing in certain videos. It doesn't matter. The truth is the truth. If I present it speaking in a video, if I write it down on paper, if I sing it in song lyrics, if it's true, it's true. No matter if I'm shouting it or whispering it, if it's true, it's true. Truth is the truth. It's not a feeling. You got to get beyond that shit. Who do I mean? Humans. There's so many like that in this realm. You don't even know what the fuck truth is. You think it's just some feeling you have. It's really incredible. No wonder you're ruled like slaves. No wonder you're in this realm and you're here lifetime after lifetime and can't get out. No fucking wonder. It makes perfect sense. You can't think. You can't see. You just feel.